Hey, this is Anthony from RevZilla. You can watch, decide, and ride. Welcome to our detailed breakdown of the new Dainese Torque D1 boots, available at RevZilla.com. In front of me, new for 2015-16, this is chock full of Italian redesigned sexy. This is the new Dainese Torque D1. In Dainese's family, at this stage of the game, you have two race boots. You have the Axial Pro In, which Valentino Rossi wears, and now you have the Torque D1. Now behind it, lurking sadly in the background, is the Torque RS, which is the predecessor. They're both CE rated, but basically Dainese threw just about everything out the window and redesigned it. So again, stylistically, comfort, protection-wise, from a ventilation standpoint, they've really gone for it and they haven't changed the price. You're still coming in just under that $400 mark. This is still gonna be what I would consider way more than a Weekend Warrior track boot. This is your racer level track boot. Again, coming in multitude of flavors. So my right hand, remember, this is a Torque RS, last year's model. I'm using it for comparison. But in my right hand, fully restyled, this is a Torque D1 Out. Goes on the outside of your suit. There's a Torque D1 In right here. Goes on the inside of your suit. Dainese is the only guy doing suit to boot, which has the Velcro connector. Basically all their suits at this point. And again, it really is just designed to go inside your boot. Your suit comes down over it. There is a ladies Torque D1 Out. And I'm actually going to call out the fact that I just lied very briefly. This is actually a Torque D1 Out Air. And if we look at that, this is the first time we've seen an air version of a Dainese boot that wasn't perforated. So many times you're adding all of that perf, you see lighter colorways, they're doing what they can to not weaken the strength of the boot, but it has to be perf to flow air in the summer. They've now done with the air version of the Dainese Torque D1 Out is you're getting the air version that actually has the air canalization system. So we're going to talk about where they went with the new design of this boot, but what you're going to notice is these red areas, 1, 2, and then this black area on the instep, which is fully redesigned. These are intakes, 1 and 2 on the shin. And remember, this boot's designed to be in a 57-degree angle and keep with the lines of your bike. Notice it creates that almost parallel race line with the ground. What happens is air comes in the instep, air comes in the shin plate, and air exits out around the heel. But what it does to get there is it circulates around your foot. So for the first time ever, we're seeing an active ventilation system, just like we would on a helmet or on a jacket, but we're seeing it built into a premium race level boot without having to go full perforation. So in my estimation, that's a really huge technologically advanced development. The other thing I really love about it, and again, we're going to walk through the nitty-gritty, they shaved 40 grams off this bad boy versus the previous version. So the Torque RS was about a kilogram. This is now 940 grams, or I'm sorry, it was about 980 grams. Now we're at 940 grams. For frame of reference, some of the other pro-level race boots from some of the competitors are going to be 1,025 grams, 1,000 grams. I mean, that's Alpine Stars. That's TCX. These guys are coming in very, very lightweight. So again, lighter weight, pro level, great structural integrity, less fatigue. So they're passing that through. The other thing you're going to notice about these boots, though, and before I get into some of the sizing, is the redesign. They really took it from a place of honeycomb, the present design that you see in a lot of places, which is, my opinion, very popular in the last 5 years, to a place of technologically advanced, the future. Think Lamborghini Aventador. I mean, again, you still have the flexibility, but they refine things. You see all of the magnesium sliders. Toe, it's replaceable, that carries over. But now on the heel, you're going to have it raised, lesser surface area. You have a redone heel counter done in magnesium. Again, the next level, if you move up here to this hinge system, they've refined it, they've stylized it, they've hidden some of the joints. It just feels next level. They worked in these vents. Again, the Torque D1 Air, I think, is my favorite version. This black, white, red is dynamite as well. But that's where they went with it. And as we walk through the rest of it, I'm going to compare and contrast over the previous boot. So I'm just going to leave it right there for now. Now let's talk quickly about sizing. Remember, there's an inner booty system that's non-removable, does have a speedlay system. And again, Dainese designs for the American market. They do a huge business over here, so it's not going to be overly narrow. But if you have a super wide foot, probably be a better boot for you. This doesn't do well if you have really wide feet, but for your average to narrow feet, you're going to be good to go. Use a size chart, you'll be just fine. And remember, we're in here, entry and exit through the back. You're going to see your non-removable inner booty. And what I love about this boot is they do these wings so you can adjust for the circumference of your calf on both sides. And I will say, if we look at it here, remember the new Nexus replacing the TR Course loses a lot of this next generation functionality. The Nexus is not a replacement for the entry-level track boot. Dainese is really not doing an entry-level track boot at this point. It's this, which is going to be the Torque D1, which in my opinion is a premium track boot, and they're completely ignoring the $200 to $300 price point. So Keep that in mind when you're looking at these bad boys done all in microfiber. Now remember, use the size chart, we'll ship for free. Love it if you click our logo, subscribe to us at RevZilla TV, leave me your comments, your questions, your feedback on all the changes with the new Torque D1. Now, some of the other changes here, remember, a lot of colors, a lot of different flavors, a lot of styles. We talked about the venting, we talked about the design. If we look at it, new shift panel on the front, redesigned, more ergonomic, different coverage area, allows for more flex, allows for more feedback. Why? Because of the way it's designed and the gills that are cut away. It's almost scored on the bottom, so it flexes easier compared to the original or the TR Core. So again, nice step up, or the Torque RS rather. It's very confusing. There's a lot of different names in the last 5 years for the boot. Just remember, this is the new Torque D1 and this is the one you're looking at. Now, if we move into our instep, we talked about the ventilation channel. You now have this elastication. It moves a little easier front to back. Remember this D-axial hinge system. It's meant to eliminate torque. It's meant to limit hyperflexion, hyperextension. And the back, what they've done here is they've done these darts. They actually cut away. You can see it right there where that hits that angle. So when it moves forward, it actually doesn't get in its own way. If we look at the previous version, it was very flat. And what happens, it didn't flex very well. So now they've refined that and you have better flexibility. What they've done too is they refined the way the D-stone works, which is one of their ballistic materials that's woven. Again, very similar in its stamping of its magnesium slider down towards the bottom. But you can also see here up towards the top that you're going to have a different interface with your leg. So again, a little bit softer, like the inside of a jacket collar, not going to be chafing. Wish I had the Dainese logo on it like I had on the previous version, but again, I will take comfort over style. If I'm how many laps on the racetrack, how many sessions in a row, you're not going to get a blister, you're going to be good to go. And remember, you have this design that's going to have this poly shell or this hull inside of it, which creates great protection throughout, great toe protection, CE rating. The other thing you really can't see is the new monocoque heel shock absorber. You have it in the Dyno, you have it in the Dyno Pro D1, you're going to have it in Nexus, you also have it in the Torque D1, obviously. It's a 6-bushing design working within the heel that's going to do a better job absorbing impacts. That would be of that nature from the top down or to the heel directly. That's baked in, you can't see it, it's going to be more comfortable, it's going to be more protective. So remember, you're walking into the Torque D1 with a full redesign. It's way sexier than it used to be. For the first time ever, you're doing a premium race boot for the ladies, which is huge. You're also minimizing weight by shaving it down, and you're redesigning the protective and comfort components. Again, with the new ventilation system, again, we've never seen on a race boot at this level outside of just your basic old perforation, which works, but it's not technologically sophisticated. It's not a leap forward. So all in, we have our Torque D1 out, we have our Torque D1 in, we have our Torque D1 Air. I'm sure we're gonna see a Torque D1 waterproof at some point, depending on where they go with it. And then we have the Torque D1 ladies. Keep that in mind. Old guy, you go away. Out with the old, in with the new. The next step in your journey is to click the info button, visit RevZilla.com, read what other hardcore riders are saying about the new Torque D1. Remember, you don't have to take my word for it. As always, we'll ship for free or $39. And if you want to talk to a gear geek, see us at RevZilla.com or 877-792-9455. Thanks for watching our detailed breakdown. Remember, subscribe to us on the YouTubes. I'll make you smarter, I promise. We do this stuff every day, all day. It's our job. I'm Anthony. We'll see you next time.